Welcome everyone, it's JR here, and today I want to talk about the 4 categories of F words which have helped me to vastly improve myself mentally, emotionally, and healthily. The first being fasting, the second being floating in a float tank, the third being NoFap, and the fourth and last being fitness. I've been experimenting with fasting for quite some time now, mostly intermittent fasting, but in the past month I've also experimented with water fasting over the course of 2 days. Before attempting a fast of any kind for myself, I made sure to research the subject thoroughly and eclectically, using as varied of sources as possible. I consider myself to be slightly overweight for my height, but not to the extent that I would consider myself to be obese, nor would anyone who knows me say anything of the sort. I had read about, watched, and listened to quite a few different individuals who had success with fasting. So I began to wonder if fasting was right for me in order to shed some of the belly fat specifically that I've accumulated throughout my life in the past decade and a half due to bad eating habits, including eating before bed, among other things, as well as a lack of a physical exercise routine. Most of my time was spent at the computer after work, and having a job which doesn't place much emphasis on physical activity, it all led to more weight gain than I would have preferred. Nonetheless, I have found fasting to be a great source of discipline building, not to mention the fact that it does help to stimulate the body into using some of those fat stores after running out of glucose deposits as far as I am aware. The addition of discipline and fat-losing activities such as cold showers or baths has been on my mind as of late for helping to lose weight, but I have not delved into those activities as of yet, so I won't speak any further about those here and now until I've tried them more extensively for myself, since all I've really done is attempted a cold shower for a few minutes in the past until it became unbearable for me and my set level of discipline, and I quit. Much more recently than my experimentation with fasting, I have taken in a floating session inside of a float tank for 1 hour. For anyone who may not know, a float tank is a more common term used for a sensory deprivation tank in which you lay in a small pool of water inside a completely dark tank that has Epsom salts in it, which allows your body to maintain a floating position. Earplugs are offered at the location I visited, so you can block any possible sounds outside of the tank from disturbing your time within. I've also done research on this subject quite extensively in the past, but only recently, when a friend from work suggested I visit the float tank location he had been visiting lately, did I have the courage to face what I thought could be a possible phobia of mine in the form of claustrophobia, which is the fear of small and enclosed spaces. A float tank seemed like a potential nightmare in this regard, but as it turned out, it wasn't a problem for me at all. I enjoyed the seclusion of it all, and wasn't off-put by the experience in the least. In fact, I found it was exhilarating to feel so relaxed and rejuvenated at the end of the hour-long session. From the brief research I have done on float tanks via scientific journals available on the website of the float tank location I visited, I have found that float tanks have many benefits, including, but not limited to, a reduction in blood pressure, an increased ability to focus, and the potential to increase discipline for eating and exercise habits. Moving on to the third F category, which has helped me in the recent past, NoFap, otherwise known as not ejaculating in the form of masturbation mostly, but it can also pertain to abstinence from sex as well, or at least abstinence from ejaculating during sex, has had a great impact on my ability to increase my discipline and has also helped to increase my levels of energy. I won't go into all the details of how I think NoFap has contributed to my overall sense of contentment and progression in life, because I think other YouTubers do a much better job at that than I. I will mention it as a potential factor in my self-improvement. In future videos, I will likely reference NoFap's contribution to my overall betterment by speaking of how it has helped me in terms of getting over breakups, and in terms of helping to free up time for other, more important, and more fulfilling activities. And lastly, recently I've been keeping up with a fitness routine for the past few months, and I have seen results which some of the fitness YouTubers I watch, such as Jaxblade, term newbie gains. After having begun a workout routine and stuck to it for a duration long enough to produce results over the past few months, I can attest that I have grown my biceps, triceps, and deltoids substantially in just over 3 months. Before my exercise routine was a part of my daily life, I could never have imagined seeing definition in my arms or shoulders at all, seeing as how even doing martial arts for years as a teenager, I had never really seen results beyond having increased stamina in terms of being able to spar for longer or being less winded after a workout. I had only ever attained cardiovascular benefits from the karate routines I had become accustomed to participating in, but never had I received muscular definition from that time in my life. For those of you who are interested, my workout routine is not something extreme or all-encompassing in terms of variety or intensity. I simply initially used a 20-pound dumbbell to do a bicep curl with, as well as shoulder presses above my head and tricep exercises using the same dumbbell in order to achieve the newbie gains that I have. I started with 10 reps and begun increasing those reps to 11, 12, and 13 via a fitness YouTuber that I have watched. I want to mention that I don't think any of these 4 F categories have helped me more than any other, and that I think it has been a combination of all 4 of them that has really triggered such a drastic change in my lifestyle, especially when considering that I have only been to 1 floating session in the past month. Although I plan on going to more in the future, perhaps as much as once a month, I still consider the session to have brought me enough in terms of results in my mindset to have been mentioned in this video. I'll keep this video short by ending it here and saying that it is possible to reach new heights and to reach what may seem like unattainable goals if you just start somewhere. Even the smallest baby steps can put you on the path to improvement. It can be gradual, but it will come. All you have to do is begin. Thank you.